Hi, this is Alex Mitchell from Agents of Change, and today we're walking through a how-to guide for tracking your continuing education progress. So whether you're a social worker, a therapist, a counselor, whether you have one license or multiple licenses, whether they're in one state or multiple states, we're going to be talking about an easy pattern, a step-by-step path you can follow to track your progress for your continuing education to make sure that you're ready for license renewal and you're not surprised or stressed when that renewal comes. So let's jump in. So, if you're a new therapist or counselor or social worker, it might sound pretty easy continuing education. You might think, I just need maybe a certain number of hours in a couple of years, and that's no biggie. I'm able to do that easily. I'm able to find those easily. I'm able to submit my license renewal, no problem. Well, there's actually some hidden complexity, especially if you haven't been through this before, that you might not have realized. It's not just about the total number of hours completed. For almost every state, you have to meet specific types of hours. So many states require a certain amount of ethics hours. Those have to be special courses that are approved to offer ethics credits. Some require live or interactive credits, meaning it can't all be recorded. Sometimes that live has to be in person, sometimes it doesn't. This all varies state to state pretty dramatically, and it varies by license type, it varies by license level, and can even vary by some other factors in some states. So you're already starting to feel some of that complexity as I go through this list. There's also different approval types. So at Agents of Change, we are ASWB approved and NBCC approved, but certain states, like New York, for example, require a state approval as well. So it's really important to understand what your state requires, what types of credits they accept. Also, renewal cycles aren't consistent either. Some states are based on your birth date or the date you originally got your license, where other states have a same renewal date for everyone. And I mentioned multiple licenses before, or inconsistencies across what courses are accepted for one license or another license, but not another. So hopefully now, if you weren't really appreciating the complexity that there is in managing your continuing education progress, you're starting to get it now. But the good news is there is an answer. There are easy steps you can follow. There's easy tools that are out there that you can use that can simplify all of this complexity and reduce your stress. So let's talk about this step by step. So first, you want to make sure you know your license renewal date. So look that up right now. If you don't know it offhand, make sure you understand how much time you have until your license needs to be renewed. Is it 2 years? Is it 2 months? What is it based on? Is it based on your birth date? Is it based on a specific date, your license date? Check that, know it, add it to your calendar, maybe set a couple reminders to make sure you have those, and also add it to where you track your CEs. If you don't have a place you track your CEs, we'll share one in a couple of steps here that you can use. Second, look up your current state and license specific requirements. If you have multiple licenses in multiple states, look up all of those. These can change each year. They can change month to month, depending on what the regulatory body in your state decides to do. So you definitely want to check the latest requirements for each of your licenses if you have multiple, for each of your states if you're licensed in multiple states. So check those, write them down, and make sure you remind yourself or set a reminder to check those every so often to make sure they have not changed. One thing you can do to make both of those steps easier is you can track everything in one place with a tool like our free CE requirements tracker. This is a great way to just provide this information, your state, your license, your renewal date, how many credits you've earned, and we'll let you know the specific requirements for your state. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm going to jump out here and let's go to the free tracker on the Agents of Change website. So if you'd like to find this and you're watching this video or listening to this podcast, you can just go to agentsofchangetraining.com. And then in the top right, you'll see the resources dropdown, and you can select CE Requirements Planner. You can also look up CE Requirements Tracker, Agents of Change on any AI tool or any search engine, and you will find it as well. So let's take a look at it. So it's very straightforward, and we'll just refresh the page here. And all you have to provide is some basic information about your state, about your license type, and your renewal date, and we'll let you know the requirements for your state. So let's put myself in here. And I'm going to pick Michigan. And as you can see, it provides a good list of all of the counselors, social worker, and therapists licenses available in that state. If I had picked a different state, I would see a different list. So it should match what you're seeing in your state and the licenses available in your state. So I'm going to pick licensed master social worker in Michigan. I'm going to say my renewal date is February 2nd, 2027. So, I don't have a ton of time, but I still have plenty of time to complete my requirements. And let's say I've already earned 15 credits this period. So I can already enter, 15 here to say how many I've earned. And let's click Get My Requirements. And so what we can see here is my renewal period is 3 years for this license in Michigan. There's my renewal date that I just provided. And I can see a little progress tracker of how many credits I've earned, 15, how many credits are needed, 30. I have 252 days remaining, which means I need to earn about 3 to 4 credits each month. So that helps provide me just an understanding of the pace I need to be on if I don't want to, have to rush at the end. So, okay, 3 or 4 credits per month will get me there by my February 2nd, 2027 renewal date. I can then also see some of the other requirements. So I need 5 ethics hours. I need 3 cultural competency hours, and a home study is accepted in Michigan. You can also see some special requirements here. I need 3 hours of implicit bias training, 2 hours of human trafficking, and 2 hours of pain management. This is really helpful. So each state typically has some special requirements. We'll provide those to you here in the tracker so you don't miss those. And as I scroll down the page here, I'll actually get recommended courses from Agents of Change to meet those requirements. So you can see some of the courses here around risk and safety assessments, political anxiety. So 10 courses recommended that I can check out by just clicking on view here. And then I will see the details of that course. I can sign up for that course, or I can also search for other courses in the Agents of Change library. So let's go back to the tracker. There's one last feature here that's really helpful. I mentioned before, if you need a place to track this, this can be the tool that you can use. So you can export this data. So you can see I just clicked the export to CSV. I'm just going to go to a Google Drive folder, and I'm going to upload that CSV file. And I can open that with Google Sheets. So I'm going to open that up. And what I'll have here now is that same information that was shown in the tracker in that easy to follow way. And I can use this going forward if I want to track my progress. So again, I can see how many hours I have, how many hours are still needed. I can see all those courses that were recommended. I can even get the link to my state's details for continuing education. So in this case, it's the michigan.gov page since I was entering information for Michigan. So this can be the great start of a tracker for you to use going forward as you take more courses and as you make more progress against your goals. So that's the free CE tracker. I highly recommend you try it. Check those requirements for your state and for your license to make sure you stay on track. So now we're to step 4. So when you take your continuing education courses, make sure to save the certificates you get immediately and save them digitally. So whether you get those certificates in person, let's say maybe it's a handout even, or you get them digitally from a place like Agents of Change, make sure that you save a copy of those. I often use Google Drive, but whatever sort of online storage you use, put it in a folder that's marked license renewal and put the year and date of your license renewal and store them in a consistent way. So I often suggest putting the number of credits, the name of the course. If it was a specific type of credits like ethics, make sure that's in the name of your file. So be consistent, put it in that digital folder. It will only take you a few extra seconds up front, but it'll save you a lot of headache in the future if you have to find these certificates. So download them right away, put them in a digital place. If you need those extra courses, I recommend you check out Agents of Change course library. We were just looking at it before, and I'll show it again in a second here, but you can find over 200 courses there. You can sort, filter, and search for any type of credits you need or courses you need or specific approvals you need. You'll be able to find it there. So if we jump out here, we will click over to the course search. And you can see here, we have kind of the general course library up at the top here. I can select any type of courses. So if I needed ethics credits, or if I wanted trauma content or cultural competence credits, as we talked about before, I could filter for those and see courses instantly that are going to meet those requirements. I can also filter by most credits. Let's say I need to get credits very quickly. I could filter by courses that have more credits, so I can take more credits in fewer courses. Of course, I can also use search here too as well. So we could just put in therapy, so you can see we're returning the therapy course. And then of course I can click into any of those courses and see more details, see a description, the learning objectives, the instructor information, even the course outline, so I can make sure this course is a good fit for me before getting started. But definitely recommend using this course search as a way to find courses that meet those requirements that you still have for your renewal of your license. And then finally, step 6, review your progress. Check in monthly. You really don't need much time. Maybe it's the last Friday of the month. You have a reminder in your calendar, 5 to 10 minutes to check your progress. How many have you completed? What categories are finished or what still has requirements? What am I missing? That's also a great opportunity to sign up for the next month's courses or live events to fill those gaps that you have. So again, you don't need much time at all, just to check in maybe once a month, put it on your calendar. I like the last Friday of the month. And then you can also sign up for those courses that you need for the following month. So definitely recommend that. Review your progress, check in, and you will be on track. Finally, we already talked about the course search, but if you take your courses from Agents of Change, finding those certificates is easy. So we're looking at just a mock-up here of the dashboard for my account, and I can see easily those certificates that I completed all in one place. I can view those certificates again. I can download them again. I can see all the details of the credits I've earned. So if you're already using Agents of Change, you will have those certificates all in one place. So no need to have to find them separately or find certain emails that you got a year ago or 6 months ago that had the links to those certificates. They'll all be inside of Agents of Change. That keeps it a little bit easier for you too as well. Finally, if you are a CE subscriber, you will get license renewal reminders automatically from Agents of Change. So when you sign up for Agents of Change as a continuing education subscriber, you'll provide us your license information. And you can provide us up to 5 different licenses. So those could be in different states, they could be different types of licenses, and the dates of renewals on those. And we'll automatically remind you as you come up to those license renewals. So you can see here emails at 90 and 60 days. We'll also reach out at 30 days and 2 weeks just to make sure you are on track for a successful renewal. So with Agents of Change, you provide that information one time up front, and we've got your back to make sure you meet those license renewals. Even if you have as many as 5 licenses, we've got you covered. Finally, wrapping up here, a few mistakes to avoid. So make sure you're not just tracking total CE hours. You want to make sure you understand those specific hour requirements. Also, you don't want to wait to the last minute. We've talked a lot about today the simple things you can do upfront that reduce the stress later. Like losing those certificates, that is a tracking mistake to avoid. Save them immediately. Put them in a digital place. Name them in a consistent way. Finally, don't assume every course counts for your license. You want to make sure to look up front on what is required, what is approved for your state, for your license. And with the Agents of Change tracker, you can do that much more simply. And then finally, make sure if you have multiple licenses, you're tracking those separately. You're looking at those requirements separately. You're looking at those renewal cycles separately because that information can vary. So avoid these top 5 mistakes. And if you use some of the tools that we shared, you'll be certain to avoid them as you go through your renewal journey. Finally, we're here to support you on this continuing education journey. We shared a lot of content. You can find it at agentsofchangetraining.com. If you're overwhelmed or you just have questions, email us at contact@agentsofchangeprep.com. We're happy to help. Whether you're a subscriber or not, we can provide you quick answers, point you in the right direction, give you the tools you need. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Agents of Change CE. We always are sharing content there. We're often sharing free continuing education content. So check that out. Give it a follow if you aren't already. But thank you for joining us today. Hopefully, this helped you kind of see how you can better manage your continuing education and your journey to license renewal. Thank you.